Hello. I'm going to say my uh, biggest four reasons why a lot of TV shows are, not doing well. And yes, shows can be good and whatnot from, the modern age. But I'm going to talk about the four biggest reasons why um, that's not always the case. It's like it can get really shitty as it's been getting. Number four is on originality because a lot of them are more focused on, pushing a narrative or having a worldview rather than actually making a show nowadays. Because if they dare to make actual, like, especially with fiction, if they dare to make actual, like, entertainment, fantasy fiction, that kind of stuff. No, 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 no. You don't understand. You don't understand. You're letting the patriarchy win. Like whatever the current thing they're pushing. You know, um, that's one reason. Um, and it gets really, really weird. And then number three, uh, just they're just not consistent. Now we went from number four and number three, but they're just not consistent. They are not consistent really at all. Because they might drop an entire season or they might only drop certain episodes on certain days rather than doing like one episode per week at least, you know? And then on top of that, a lot of these episodes are like 30-minute or 15-minute episode, and then the next episode they'll call it like episode 8 after the episode 1 or the episode 2 or whatever. They'll call that the episode 8, and then it will be like a 2-3 hour episode, you know? And they spend all their money on something that if it was done right, it could have ran for at least 3 seasons, you know? And that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big reason why that is the case. And then another reason, and this is reason number 2, of why shows kind of suck nowadays is because they're not, like what I said, they're running out of ideas earlier. They're also having a lack of crossover episodes. They're having a lack of just general interest, you know? That's why a lot of foreign language TV shows, or at least just TV shows that are more appealing to people, generally are not, traditional TV shows anymore, because a lot of the traditional TV shows just don't really exist. It's either horror or some sort of live studio audience comedy. You never get an actual show, that kind of thing. Or it's some sort of drama, like Heartland, or say, you know, just like drama slop shows, you know, that kind of thing. And then number one biggest reason why a lot of TV shows suck nowadays, my number one reason is that people, like, it's either because it's blocked off by streaming or say just they didn't watch it, but yeah, people just don't watch their TV shows no more. People just don't watch TV shows in general, TV shows or movies in general. Like the most you're gonna go to a theater nowadays is usually once a year, assuming you're only watching new movies. If you're only watching like traditional, oh yeah, you got a whole lot. But yeah, everybody keeps treating like these TV shows like how they treat movies, where because Hollywood and stuff like that are basically treating movies and TV shows like they're the same thing. They tend to forget that they're not the same thing, and so they often get away with constantly making, like I said earlier in this video, unoriginal, uninspired videos, not videos, TV shows and movies and stuff like that. Because, let's face it, it's kind of hard to criticize something if you haven't seen it, That kind of thing. The only time I would say criticizing something if you haven't seen it is if you're just watching the trailer or say, it never got to release. That kind of thing. Say it became like a tax write-off. Then it's understandable. But it's like, unless it's completely blocked off by streaming or something, it doesn't really make sense to go out and criticize a movie or a TV show, Like, for example, I don't like Gilmore Girls, the original series, I don't like it. I just really don't. But guess what? I've watched it to know that I don't like it, But a lot of the people who just crap on movies and TV shows especially, they just never seen it, And especially if it's like anime and stuff. Like, it's very, very easy to tell, or sometimes hard to often tell that there's LARPers, because it's just like, oh, you've seen this show or whatever, yada yada yada, because, well, they're kind of everywhere nowadays. And it's just really sucks, man. It just really fucking does. But yeah, that's the biggest mainstream reason. They just haven't seen it. Because if they actually watched the movies and TV shows, even if everybody else liked it and they hated it, or, the other way around where everybody else hated it and you liked it, you can give your own opinion on that show or something, because at least then you know what you do like and you know what you don't like. And then when you go watch a new movie or a TV show, you can just know that kind of stuff. And I'm one of those guys who will watch one TV show at a time, which basically means that until I finish the TV show, usually if the TV show is already done and finished and over with, especially older stuff, because that's usually where most TV shows, successful TV shows, are nowadays. The ones that are usually finished. I usually just watch that whole TV show until there's no more episodes left, to watch. For the shows that I do watch anyway. But there can be exceptions to the rule, but it's usually if it's a pre-existing franchise that I'm pre-invested in, like that I'm already invested into watching it. But yeah, that's my 4 reasons why TV shows suck now. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have any thoughts, opinions, answers, questions, anything of the sort? But, yeah, I think you get the idea. My 4 reasons on why TV shows suck now. I am out of here. So good morning, good day, good evening, and good night. It's gonna get crazy. Crazy. Yeah. Okay, bye.